Hey guys, welcome. This is a general reading for the collective of all zodiac signs for the July 2025 Love Tarot monthly energy update. I'm going to start by pulling from Fortune Oracle as always, just to sort of get a feel for the energy coming through for the month. And then I'm going to do the tarot spread, which I break down week by week for the month of July, and your person, you, and the connection. And then in part 3, and this is time stamped for your convenience, then I go into the astrology for the month as sort of an overlay, so that I show you what's happening with dates, etc., so you can kind of come back and use it as a reference throughout the month. July is a huge month, probably the biggest month of the year, quite frankly, so I'll have a lot to talk about. Here we go. Unicorn, but of course, number 33, and 33 is a master number, a sacred number. We don't reduce it. Unicorn says success, hope, freedom, healing, and magic are all available to you if you just believe. I like it. I like it. It's got a little bit of... There's references here in the language and the unicorn itself that are very Aquarian in nature. And just so you know, Uranus, the planet that rules Aquarius, is playing a major role in the month of July. So that feels kind of auspicious to me. So let's see what this says. It says, unicorns are beautiful, magical, mystical beings that have fascinated people for centuries. They symbolize fresh hope, purity, magic gentleness, and sweet success, and bring many blessings to your life. It is truly a good omen to see this card. Seeing a unicorn in a dream indicates you could meet with good fortune and will feel encouraged and positive, and more magic will be brought into your life. Now, when it comes to personal relationships, the unicorn card represents faithfulness and pure love. You can expect a great deal of passion and could experience one of the most romantic times you have ever had. Some people may begin a wonderful new friendship that brings immense joy. Relationships could be very exciting and feel like the purest love you have ever felt, and you may find what you are looking for, such as a soulmate connection. This vibe also indicates a time when women become mothers and new family members are welcomed. Whatever the situation, it will be unlike anything you have ever gone through previously. Unicorns symbolize freedom, so be sure to give your partner or friends plenty of space. Interesting, we're pulling this on today, July 4th, which symbolizes independence and freedom. But beautiful message for all of us to enjoy and to refer back to as we move through the month of July. So I will start by saying that two things are happening today as I record this. Neptune has begun his retrograde at 2 degrees of the sign of Aries. So turned around and is now moving backwards. Venus has now moved into the sign of Gemini. Also today, that's happening. So we have two pretty major things occurring today as we kick off the month of July. Otherwise, the first few days of the month have been very quiet. Venus in Gemini, what can I say about that? When we think about Venus with regard to love, matters of the heart, she is the divine feminine. I'll say Venus in Gemini, the mantra is, this and that are true. Both and. Think on those terms. Both and. This and that are true. Because Gemini are the twins. It's the Lover's card. Okay, so think about the fact that you may have a month with Venus predominantly in the sign of Gemini. I believe she switches signs again toward the end of the month, I'm pretty sure. Might be a month where it's kind of like we have to balance two sides of the same coin, right? Yeah. All right, so let's jump into this spread. We'll start with the overall energy for the month, Three of Cups. Okay. So the Three of Cups, when it talked about friendships, etc., there's positivity, and it can be a card of reconciliation. For those of you that feel that that's speaking to you, this is a general for for all the signs, so you have to take it as it resonates. Could be that, could be just something worth celebrating. It's a celebratory energy in the air, perhaps, but it means good, solid, good times, good friends, good energy, good vibes. Yeah, joy. Okay, let me move that. That's your person. This is you. Wow, 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 wow. And this is the connection. Like I said, it's a big month. And we have some real powerful cards here. Now, the way that I do this is I say this top row represents your person. The center row is you. It's kind of like the vortex where all the energy goes. Bottom row is the connection. But of course, things can come through reverse, so take it as it resonates. For week 1, your person, Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is about the choosing of the path. This person has week 1 and week 2, the first half of this month, two twos, Two of Wands, Two of Pentacles. This person making decisions. Deciding what they really want, and then what they need to set in motion, and with the Two of Pentacles, what the realities are, so that they can make a powerful and realistic decision, not just based on a whim, but on what they truly desire and what they believe is realistic. Because for them in week 3, we're getting to the Hierophant, which is about commitment. Okay. And then in week 4, when we close out the month, the Knight of Pentacles. So this person will be very methodical and deliberate. When they come in with an offer, let's say, of something more committed or up-leveled, for some of you it will be an up-leveling, taking things to the next level. I can assure you from that Knight of Pentacles that they will have thought things through very, very deliberately. Okay, they're not coming in with impulse. All this thinking and considering and weighing pros, cons, paths will pay off in the end, because whatever offer, and Knights make offers, this is the one that you can most count on. It's the most tangible and legit. For you, kicking off the month in high style here with the Ten of Cups. And week 2, strength. It's something that you're going to be needing a lot of perseverance, a lot of, kind of overcoming some obstacles that might even be within you. This is one of those weird months where we're doing a lot of the inner work. Changes are taking place within, so you might kind of need to put your game face on and face some things bravely, because if you're coming into the month with sort of these hopes for something very beautiful to unfold and long-lasting, that happily ever after energy, there might be some things, because your person is coming in with a decision paradigm. So if they're in a decision-making mode, you're already there. You know what you think is possible for the connection. There may be some obstacles for you to overcome with regard to not allowing it to chip away at your resolve or to lead you feeling that it's a statement about you on some level. They're going to get there, but this is somebody who wants to be very well reasoned. So at week 3, yay, okay, 9 of Cups, something's going to feel very much like, yeah, it was worth it all. The 9 of Cups, you can see her jumping for joy next to a treasure box. I don't always see the 9 of Cups this way. I kind of like this deck for that reason, because I don't often see the 9 of Cups. The 9 of Cups, you know, looks like the barkeep with his arms across his chest and all the cups behind him, and he's looking like he's ready to serve up a bunch of people. And I don't always get the same vibe from that I get from this. From that, I usually get some kind of contentment, or like things are good as they are, you know, who needs 10 cups? We got 9. Sometimes I get that vibe. When I pull from this deck and I get the 9 of Cups, it's like, woohoo! Okay, something powerful is being manifested here. So it's very much a jump for joy energy. And then in the week 4, we have this King of Swords. So that you know, King of Swords is also Aquarian energy. And as I was reading to you about the unicorn, it may be that with the King of Swords, you're dealing with somebody who how shall I say this? Begins the month leaving you a little bit off kilter with regard to their intentions toward you, because you may perceive them as being undecided. And it may even, in fact, compromise your confidence could take a hit. But then they turn it around. And that's where the jump for joy comes in. And so toward the end, we've got them showing up, Knight of Pentacles, with an offer, and you seeing what it was all about through their eyes, so to speak. Their honor, their integrity. Okay, and for the connection, yeah, week 1, Ace of Wands, Spirit gifting this connection, the Ace, basically saying this could be a whole new beginning. This is something to light it up. It's, you know, we have a lot of fire and air energy in the month of July. Gemini, Aries in particular, and some Leo toward the end of the month when we move into Leo season. Yeah, so we've got this gift from Spirit. Maybe it's just something that's very powerful and overwhelming in terms of your passion. Maybe it's renewing the passion. But that's how we're kicking off the month, which makes sense here. And then you've got your person sort of like, yeah, I'm into this, but I have some decisions to make, right? So week 2, 9 of Pentacles. So that in the connection means that there's this point where you still have to maintain your, like some individuation, some independence from it all. The 9 of Pentacles is very self-sufficient, takes care of themselves, is manifesting for themselves. It's not really where you're completely linked up and operating two as one. Okay, so you want to maintain your individuation because this person is making their decision. It may be a crisis of confidence for you that you'll need to overcome, and the best way to do that is to maintain your independence, your autonomy, your individuation from this person. In other words, not to get too enmeshed with whatever process they're going through. Okay, so this is again, I'm talking about the connection. Week 3, you two are manifesting something. What are you manifesting? Yeah, like I said, they get there and it is a big woohoo moment for you, and it feels like it's something you've been manifesting for quite a while. So it's like, to me, in week 3, which, if I'm not mistaken, I hate doing that, but week 3 we've got, toward the end of the month, we move into Leo mansion. That is where we have the new moon is on the 24th in the sign of Leo. So we'll be closing out the month with manifesting something very powerful. And there it is, 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so looking at the future, the life you're going to build together or possibly build together, considering the long haul, the long term of life partnership in this connection. So that's the overview. Now I'm going to clarify what speaks to me. Okay, so I won't clarify every single thing. Always clarify the opening card. What's the overall energy? 3 of Cups. Queen of Pentacles, Tower, Ace of Cups. So there is something here that's been feeling unsustainable, perhaps. Queen of Pentacles, feminine archetype of a life partner. Ace of Cups here, the love between you, that gift from spirit that says this is the one. You know they're the one. They might know you're the one. It's just sort of behind the scenes, this energy that's between the two of you. I feel it's a reconciliation of something here that helps you avoid a tower moment. When you see the tower, it doesn't always mean there's a tower moment. Sometimes it's like there's something that's not stable enough for a long-term invested, committed connection. So it's like the first few weeks of the month of July, you've got a little red flag here that has to be reconciled. And the 3 of Cups is also a card of a cause for celebration. So that by the time we get to the end of the month, it is a big woohoo. Because you're manifesting that stability. You're manifesting this person doing the work they need to do to make sure they're making the decision that is coming from their soul. Not just because it's what you want. Not just because it's what other people are doing or telling them, or your friends or family members saying, well, it's about time, or da-da-da. Yeah, no. This is someone who's taking something very seriously into consideration. And whatever it means to you, that the Hierophant doesn't have to be about marriage and settling down. Sometimes it's about, well, we're going to make this connection, exclusive now. It could be committing to relocating to be near each other, committing to living together, committing to whatever it is you're committing to. It doesn't always have to be the one thing we all normally see when we see the Hierophant, okay? But because we're planning for something more long-term that we can build together, this person is going to take the time that they need to make the decision that sits well in their bones so that we don't have an unstable foundation. Okay? So I'm feeling like the Tower represents this energy where you might feel a little shook and a little unstable or destabilized, as this person might be putting you off a bit because they have to weigh the options or the pros and cons. Not that you're an option, but the options within the connection. How you're visualizing it, how you're both imagining it unfolding. That's what I mean. So yeah, that's why it's important to stay sort of individuated, if you understand what I'm trying to say, so that all your apples aren't in the one basket. Eggs, apples, whatever. And that you feel, you don't feel disempowered in any way, shape, or form. You have your own fruitful, bountiful life. Okay, so I said that's the overall energy. And by the way, July is a month where we've got some rock'em sock'em energies that are disruptive for the collective. So we have to keep that in mind too. And we all react to it differently. So I want to see this person, of course, 2 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles, 3 of Cups, Queen of Cups, Knight of Swords. So in their unconscious awareness, with the Knight of Swords. That's what we can't see, the cards from the bottom of the deck. That Knight of Swords, making sure you understand something, right? Clearing something up here. I love the Three of Cups. I love the Queen of Cups for you because it's like you're in their heart. And they want to be sure they can reconcile anything that hasn't been clear. That make sure you understand them, that they understand you, that there are no, that there isn't anything left unsaid. Because if you've had trouble in paradise, and some of you, this tower is reminiscent of that, it has to be resolved. It has to be reconciled. And that may be part of the decision-making process that this person is going through. Okay? Because if we've had some rough times, it's kind of how, it's not the rough time, it's the bounce back that matters. It's what, how we respond. It's how we recover. That is most important. And I feel like this person will be focused on that recovery, on that reconciliation, and holding you definitely like you're the keeper of their heart. So that's lovely. But all in all, there might be a need for a cleanup in aisle 5 for some of you, and for others of you, just making sure that you understand what their decision-making process is like, what they're going through, how they're weighing things. And so then when they get to week 3 to week 4, we have the Hierophant to the Knight of Pentacles, King of Wands. There's the Strength card, and the Three of Swords. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say this tower represents instability in the connection before. So if there's been cracks in the foundation, and then if there have been tower moments that you've come through, this person still has maybe the scars or the remnants of the pain. Yeah. But I feel as if what happens here, and that may be what slows them down and makes them take their time, but that's okay, because it's almost like we have the double hit of Leo energy. There's not going to be any hesitation. So the wounds may be there, but they're going to overcome it. That's the obstacle, is the hurt feelings, whether they're your hurt feelings, their hurt feelings, or both of you. Doesn't matter. It'll be different for everyone. So I'm not putting that upon you as they're the only one hurt. So take that as it speaks to you. But this King of Wands saying, yep, I want it. And we can overcome anything that has gone before. And so as they come toward you toward the end of the month, or whenever, this could actually be moving right on into the month of August. This is definitely a big summer. Okay, it's a big, hot, messy summer, but this person will take their time, and when they deliver their decision, when they deliver their offer to you, it will be so well thought out. It will not leave any stone unturned, and it will be something that they're truly excited about, passionate about, happy about, and it will bring all the joy for you as well. So I'm seeing them kind of taking the time that they need to make the best decision for them, for you. And it just may be because there has been some instability in the connection for whatever reasons prior to this. Okay. And for you, we've got the 10 of Cups, Strength card, 9 of Cups. And I want to look at the Strength card to the 9 of Cups. I'm looking at week 2 to week 3, sort of that middle period where you're kind of like, I don't know what's happening here. Knight of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, Hermit. Yeah. This person may actually, with that Hermit there, be a little bit, I don't want to say completely off the grid, but not real approachable on topic. Week 2 to week 3. Because they're in decision-making mode. And so here we are talking about the Knight of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. This is about their opening their heart, offering their love, and it's all in divine time. So it makes it difficult because you may feel that they're unapproachable, that they're sort of removed or distant. This King of Swords can often be the same way. So it's almost as if they're coming toward you, and by the time they arrive, that's where the joy comes. It's like the emotional payoff for you being brave enough and courageous enough and operating from some self-belief. That part of you that says, I'm worthy. I'm worthy of love. And so my confidence is a little shaken because this person isn't really forthcoming with some things, and, the decision isn't coming easily to them. It was a no-brainer for me. Well, that doesn't mean that you're not worthy. That's not, like I said at the very, very beginning, it is not a statement or commentary about you at all. And that's why you're going to need to kind of stiffen your spine and allow it to take the time it's meant to take, because there's a process happening. It's, bigger than you. And so even if you can't access this person or get through to them, it's because it's a solitary job. It's not something you can really help them with. The love is there, the desire is there, the passion is there, but there's a big decision about taking things to the next level, whatever that means for you. And they come about their process differently. That's all it means. And I feel like the minute that the uptake is that King of Wands looking right at the Hierophant is when we have you going, wow, that feels great. Jackpot, because she's jumping for joy next to a treasure chest there. Like, I hit pay dirt, right? Like, I feel like the luckiest person on earth. So, and it's not that it's because, oh, you're so lucky. They're lucky too. You're the prize. Remember that. Okay? But it's almost as if you're going through, how sometimes we make we make a bet. We kind of have to bargain with ourselves. We have to play a little inside poker with ourselves about something that's going on with someone we love, and we can't really help them, and we can't really know what's happening in their head, and we can't really prod them and bug them about it. And so we make a little wager. I like to call it intuition, but not everybody sees it the same way. So, I feel like the wager you make with yourself pays off. And then we have that King of Swords. So let's see the Nine of Cups to the King of Swords. Almost like you reward yourself for for toughing it out. Yeah, I feel this person comes in, here's what you're jumping for joy about, to almost kind of offer you an olive branch for being a little resistant, right? Keeping you at arm's length. Page of Swords, some information that might be revealed or that's been held back kind of comes through in this Six of Wands. The Six of Wands is a victory card. It's a triumph card, sure. But it's also where we can kind of meet in the middle and forge a win-win outcome, where we feel like we're open to compromise, or we negotiate something so that both parties feel heard, feel validated, get their needs met, or their wants or wishes. That, their big ticket item, whatever it is. Like, this is really important to me, and this is really important to me. We're like, okay, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. That's all that matters. And I feel like it comes to that moment where you realize this person really has your best interest at heart, that they're a straight shooter. okay? That they've done something from their honor and integrity and to serve your honor, right? So even though you couldn't kind of pull it out of them, by the time all is revealed, it's like you have that moment where you're like, yes, I knew it, I was right. And it feels really good. So now when we look at the connection, let's go here to Ace of Wands to the Nine of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles. There it is. King of Cups. Wow. Nine of Pentacles, double hit. So conscious awareness, unconscious awareness, both your inner and outer monologues are going to be telling you both to, you do you. Because something's shifting. We're coming into the month hot, but then your person slows down. All right, I'm reading for the relationship. Remember, King of Cups, the love is there. We have a king and a queen now. So this is a connection that is showing up here for the month of July. Very strong on your emotional bond, your connection at the level of heart and soul. We also have the Knight of Cups. So very important. I'm feeling like this is difficult to work with because it's almost like the depth of the feeling for that this person has for you is an equal measure to how difficult it is for them to express, not just the feelings, but what they're processing. Okay, so it's hard to know. Like this person's, because it seems it seems contradictory. This person loves you to the ends of the earth. Got it. We've got this kind of energetic, I don't even know what to call it, this sort of reignition of something between you. And then at the same time, this person doesn't pull back from you, but sort of slows their roll, right? Slows things down at a time when things are running really hot. And it can be difficult to manage on an emotional level. So I feel like we have the Nine of Pentacles here, and the message is right at the tail end of week 1 into week 2, best to kind of move through the next week or so like, hey, take the time you need. You need some time to yourself? You need some time to think? You want to slow things down? I'm good. I got lots to do. I'm a busy person. Okay? So that's sort of my advice, and that's almost how I see that both of you kind of playing it, is more of an emphasis on your respective lives, getting things like ducks in a row, things in order, as something else is sort of being manifested throughout the month. So then we go to week 3 to week 4, the Magician to the Ten of Pentacles, Nine of Wands, Eight of Wands, big conversation. I do feel like that might be what you're manifesting most of all, is that break in the silence. Because if the Hermit is a silence, King of Cups can even be silent. King of Swords definitely silent. This person knows some communication is needed, but they're in a decision-making mode, so they're all up here, right? You're fully in your heart chakra. I feel like this person, the minute that you manifest, because you're kind of both pushing through and persevering, but I also think you're both manifesting something pretty big and powerful, and it comes through a conversation. And the elephant in the room is, are we choosing this? Are we choosing each other? It's pretty sacred. It's pretty special. It isn't something, we're likely to find out there. If we go our separate ways, the odds of us finding this again are slim to none. Is the energy that I'm picking up. Okay. Not for all of you, but for some of you, and you know it already. Those of you who are here, you know it. And so what we're doing is we're talking about the future. So I do feel what's being manifested in the connection as you're both kind of pushing forward, persevering. You may be feeling stressed about it or a little bit exhausted. They may be feeling kind of excited, like this is a lot, but I've got more in the tank. Like they're kind of pushing through with excitement. Yours may be more stress oriented, but you manifest this big ass conversation that I feel really touches on the sacredness of the bond you have. And if it's really what you're both choosing freely, and then the focus will be on the future, what you both envision that you're building, what you want to manifest together. Okay? So some of you may very well have big shifts in your connection, but the vast majority, I feel that the conversation that you manifest will be about what you're going to manifest together for a future life partnership. That's what I see. Okie dokie. So that is the reading. And now what I'm going to do is talk to you about the astrology. I've got some notes over here I'm going to look at, and I'm going to give you dates as well. So this month, we've got Uranus, which I said is the planet that rules Aquarius. I said unicorn feels like the words here. Hope, freedom, magic. Those are all Aquarian themes, 11th house themes. There was lots of reference in there to friendships. 11th house is the house of friendships, social networks, etc. King of Swords is also Aquarian energy. So that planet Uranus that rules that energy will enter the sign of Gemini pretty early on. And it's ushering in a lot of revolutionary ideas, a powerful urge to connect with others in entirely new ways. Okay, so the summer's going to be a little wild with just that energy because Uranus is expect the unexpected. Anything can happen and probably will. And we already see what's going on in our outer world. There's a lot of hair trigger kind of energy out there. But I'm just making you aware of that so that you know it's going to be a hot summer. And I don't mean hot in all ways good. Okay, maybe between you and your beloved, but there will be outside tensions that are kind of putting, like there's a pressure valve because we're living in the real world. All right, so what goes on between us and our partners is one thing, but then we are independent people that have lives, 9 of Pentacles, that have families or homes or children or jobs and bosses and coworkers and colleagues and friends. And everyone has their own Mishigas going on, right? And so the big world out there that we're living in for the next few months is going to run hot with temper, with unexpected flare-ups. And we all reverberate with that. So be aware that that's already an element that we have to contend with. So you want to build in some self-care. You want to partner with your partner, meaning, hey, we got to be a team here because there's a lot of ish going on. We got to be a team. All right, so that you kind of insulate yourselves as things unfold for the next few months. I don't always talk about the outside planet retrogrades, but Neptune stations retrograde today and at 2 degrees of Aries, and Saturn will also retrograde on the 12th. And so those two planets being retrograde, they're social planets. And so they will be kind of impacting the world at large in a lot of ways, the collective, let's just say it that way, as well, and can put pressures upon us too. So keep that in mind. Neptune will be retrograde in Aries, as I said, and moves backwards for the next 4 months, and then returns to Pisces in October. So it'll be a slow crawl back to his ruling sign in October. And so this particular retrograde will stir up a lot more confusion than normal, a lack of clarity as we navigate the next few bumpy months. Okay, so that's Neptune's retrograde in a fire sign. I know, that's why I said hot summer. Venus is conjunct Uranus today. I know. Powerful conjunction. And, you know, in the sign of Taurus, activating the heart's potential to rise to a higher level of consciousness. So Uranus, right? Consciousness. The Great Awakener is what we call Uranus. And if Venus is joining the Great Awakener, we can have a lot of that happen in our love, in our relationships, in our intimate relationships. So be aware of that. That's why we're coming in hot. Does that make sense now? Because Venus is connecting powerfully with the planet of, hey, wake up. You've got this powerful connection. You're already there with the 10 of Cups, and your person goes, well, I need to consider what I want here and really weigh what I'm dealing with. And you're like, what? So see how that could be creating some fire in a not so great way, some heat in a not so great way. So that's why I'm saying keep your individuated selves, keep your separate selves intact, because there will be all kinds of pressures bearing down upon you as individuals, let alone the connection. I kind of like Venus in this energy, in this place. Let me just see what I can say about her. Sudden unexpected change in love, values, and romance. So expect the unexpected in matters of the heart. It's emotional. Truths rising to the surface. Uranus is about the truth. Challenges you to stop overlooking what your heart has quietly known all along. Venus will bring the themes of love and affection and deep desire to feel safe, seen, and valued. Uranus is disruptive, but brings insights, breakthroughs, sudden shifts that could rewrite the emotional scripts without much warning. So I'm feeling that's what's happening in these first 2 weeks. And that's why you've got this strength card, is because something's being rewritten and this person is evaluating it. And just because they're evaluating it and you're already sure doesn't have anything to do with your worth and value. It's just an approach that's different. I know. It's difficult. It's difficult because the love is there, it's deep, it's intense, but when your person slows down as you're revving up, it can be really destabilizing, okay? Especially if it seems to come out of the blue. Venus conjunct Uranus. There can be some changes across all kinds of relationships. So from a long-term commitment to something that's less defined, from something less defined to something more committed, which is kind of what I'm seeing here. Someone you haven't heard from in a long time could reappear and reawaken emotions you thought had faded. You might have some clear realizations. Maybe that you've been reaching for love or approval in places that haven't been responsive. And you need to rethink it. You could meet someone in an unexpected moment and feel very drawn to them in a way that surprises you. So that's for those of you who are like, yeah, I don't think this is really my reading, but I'm hanging in there with you, Laura. Some of you could, kind of meet somebody totally in an unexpected way, place, or moment and feel drawn to them. You could feel compelled to express something you've been holding in for a long time. You could walk away from something or someone that no longer aligns for you. So what arrives unexpectedly, this is what's important about the Venus conjunct Uranus transit. What arrives unexpectedly now may carry exactly the shift your heart has been waiting for. So whatever happens, and what I'm seeing is, if you tough it out, if you have the resolve with this strength card, if you have the resolve, okay, just because someone isn't really allowing you in, Hermit can be very reclusive and very to themselves, it's because it's an inside job for them that you can't help them with. And that can be very emotionally destabilizing, right? There's something bigger. This is Jupiter, right? The planet of expansion and abundance. It's karma, it's fate, it's destiny. And there is that energy of love on offer. And if you can kind of tough it out to the point where you set your sight on that, and then you let it go. Like, this is my intention, what I am worthy to receive, and then I send it out to the universe. I see it showing up. Or some kind of resolution and reconciliation for the distance. All right? So we've got Venus enters Gemini for 3.5 weeks. That happens starting today, and 3.5 weeks is so most of the month of July. Uranus will be in Gemini starting on the 7th. So this conjunction between them starts effectively now because they're close enough. It will be exact on the 7th, and then it will hold on for a little while longer. We have also got the full moon on July 10th at 18 degrees of Capricorn. So that features, this Cancerian sun is opposite the moon, and it's drawing our conscious attention for self-care. Capricornian energy and Cancer are both kind of looking at our preparation, our self-care. So since this is happening on, why can't I see this? Hold on. When is that full moon? I'm looking and it's saying something weird. I'll tell you in a second. The 10th. Did I say the 10th? Because I'm not seeing the 10th. My notes, a little wonky. Full moon on the 10th. So moving into week 2, from week 1 to week 2, we've got a full moon here in Capricorn. So preparation, self-care, Home and family are the themes of the sun, preparation, and rest and restoration, the need to kind of close the door behind us, because on the zodiac wheel, Cancer is the 4th house of home, Capricorn is the 10th house of everything we do outside the door, career, our persona, our ambitions, our goals, the life we live out in the world. Okay, so that's what is being illuminated. And so the Capricorn moon is going to help us release the illusion of control, very Capricornian theme, and allows for a more balanced experience of home and work life. It also invites us to follow some natural cycles and rhythms, and that is something that the Capricorn energy often steamrolls over. So, right, like a lot of times we're not paying attention to what we need, and that's why this 9 of Pentacles is so powerful, is basically calling you back to yourself and your person back to themselves for a time, so that you can release anything that's getting in the way of what your inner needs are. So it's not just about home and all that, it's about your inner life. What do you need internally? What does your person need internally here round about the 10th, 11th, and 12th of the month? Okay, so that's perfect. It could even explain why this is all slowing down here. We come in hot and then all of a sudden we feel something kind of pulling back on the reins, and that could be this full moon. So do your full moon ritual for that kind of a release of anything that is an illusion of control. Okay? And then we have Saturn on the 12th joins Neptune in a retrograde. So then we have those two planets retrograde. It's where our spiritual consciousness, which is Neptune, turns inward. Saturn's retrograde will bring the work of building new structures and forward momentum inward as well. So that's like like imagine this as inner scaffolding of our spiritual realm, if that makes sense. Creating structures for it internally, getting serious about our spiritual practice or about our beliefs, whatever that means to you. Neptune, things might be very confusing and fuzzy for the next 4 months with Neptune retrograde, but with Saturn retrograde as well, it creates a little structure where Neptune leaves us things a little amorphous. So we'll get a helping hand, is what I'm trying to say, and take that opportunity to create some structures for yourself, so you don't feel like, what's happening? And then, just as all of that is happening, Mercury will spend an unusually long time in the sign of Leo, because he's going through his retrograde starting on the 17th. So right as we move from week 2 to week 3, we're getting into the Mercury retrograde here. Okay, smack in the middle here. In the sign of Leo, starting at 15 degrees of Leo, going back to 4 degrees of Leo, turning around and going forward back again. So we've already been, from the last day of June on the 30th is when Mercury began his pre-retrograde trek. I call it the pre-shadow. People tell me that's a wrong terminology. I don't care. It's just helps me understand. Right? Because the retrograde is the shadow. So if it's happening before that, it's pre-shadow. Sue me. So we move along, it's going forward, and everything from June 30th up until the 17th of July is the territory that's going to be covered in the retrograde. So see what I'm trying to show you here? We're coming in hot, things stall out, your person's in a decision-making mode, you don't feel you can access them, they may not be talking or giving you much to work with. You're going to have to be brave, take care of yourself, be a little independent and autonomous, and then he slams into reverse and goes back over all this territory. Got it? So that's why it's important to pay attention to what's happening between you. What are you talking about? What are you misconnecting on? What are your perceptions of what they said? Start taking freaking notes. And if you're not a journal keeper, that's okay. A notepad will do. And just start write the date and scribble some notes when something important happens. When you go, yeah, that didn't sit right with me. Write the date and write it down, because Mercury's going to go back over all this ish. And that's when we really get, boom, knocked upside the head. Okay? I'm just trying to help you all out. So that shadow begins on the 17th and runs all the way through August 10th. I know. So you want to pay attention to everything from the neck up. That's your thoughts, your perceptions, your communications, right? Miscommunications, all that. And then we enter the Leo mansion on the 22nd. We'll be in week 3 here. And that's, the sign that the sun rules, and just as the world is heating up all around us, we step into territory that calls us to center ourselves. Really, really hard to be in the mansion of a fire sign when the whole world is on fuego, and then say, center yourself. I know. Draw strength. There's your strength from your core, your person. We get the Hierophant coming in, also their higher self, also them being true to themselves, true to their beliefs, centering themselves, and you are like mind blown. This is how it's supposed to feel. Now we're cooking with fire. Okay, so I feel like it's a payoff for you, because you really are going to be put through the paces more. All right, because you're already certain about some things. Got to stand in our personal power when we're in the Leo mansion. We've got to lean on our creativity, and I'm not talking about, artsy far. I'm talking about creative thinking outside the box. Maybe being a little bit less rigid, okay? Being a little bit more open, and that takes creativity as well, all right? Creative ways of communicating, how you feel, being a little different since we're going to be in the retrograde of Mercury. Got it? You know what I mean by creativity, as well as leadership. Leo is a leadership sign. So you may be the leader in this connection, and you're going to have to find your creative angles and how to lead without having someone feel that you're controlling. Because it isn't about control. We're going to bust that up in the full moon. We're going to release the illusion of control. But we can find a creative way to be a leader without someone thinking that what we're trying to do is control. That makes sense. And then you're going to want to set intentions for that. And then we have, because we have the new moon in Leo on the 24th, my mommy's birthday. God rest her soul. Yeah, triple Leo. That was fun. So set some intentions in that creative fire on the 24th, new moon at 2 degrees of Leo, and that is going to form a perfect, and when I say perfect, I mean exact degree trine with Saturn and Neptune, who will both be retrograde, right? So think of a trine. Okay, we got the new moon, we got Saturn and Neptune. And that's all happening right here. And usually a trine geometrically is, sort of about flow. Everything flows. There's no interruptions. There's no disconnect. It's not a difficult geometry. But just because there's flow doesn't mean the trine is actually good. Okay. Okay. So for some of you, Saturn and Neptune retrograde can be really challenging. And the new moon may make it difficult for you to have clarity about the intentions that you're trying to set. So that's why it's really important to allow that Saturn piece to help you create that internal scaffolding, that structure, for you to kind of organize your thoughts, organize your spiritual desires. Right? Like this will be a time where you can operate from bullet points. Okay, so I'm not kidding. Like this is one of those times that being a little amorphous about it and witchy about it isn't going to serve you. It's going to serve you to be real freaking organized and systematized when it comes to that new moon because of that trine. So you want to keep that flow positive by not letting the other two planets that are retrograde and not real helpful to us carry us off of our game, off of our point, off what we're trying to create, okay? And then at the very end of the month, on the 30th, Venus will move into Cancer, okay? So Cancer's tender, emotionally attuned. Venus in this sign heightens our need for connection, safety, and nurturance in our relationships. And that's why I think you manifest this powerful conversation, because you're going to need that. Both of you are going to need that sense that you're kind of in this together and choosing it together, and that, you know, you've persevered. It's almost like I feel part of the conversation is we've come so far, right? We've come so far. I don't want to give up. I don't want to throw in the towel. What about you? Are we choosing this for the long term? Okay? Venus in Cancer wants that security. Last day of the month. Boom. So I feel that's the best I can give you right now. I will just add one more thing, that on that new moon on the 24th, so right about here, we have the new moon is also opposite. So we have the trine. We know that. New moon talking to Saturn, new moon talking to Neptune, Neptune and Saturn talking to each other, that triangle. Across from the new moon, opposite the new moon, is Pluto, Lord of the Underworld, also known as the planet of transformation, and that will be exact at the 2 degrees. So Pluto's the planet of change, growth, change, and transformation, death and rebirth, eighth house themes. Pluto rules Scorpio. King of Cups is Scorpio energy. I see it as a call to activate something, like from the below, to call it up and activate it. Think of the Judgment card. We don't have it in this part of the reading, but think of the Judgment card. So that new moon, you're going to want to set an intention to activate something that's been dead and buried, right? Whether it's a thought or a dream or a feeling, right? Or something that we maybe let go of too soon. It's a little bit of an activating something that we need to help us in our leadership, in our connection. Okay, so I'm just adding that in there because Pluto will be very supportive of transformation if we don't ignore him. We ignore him at our own peril. All right, so I know this went uber long. Oh my God, Maron, over an hour. So yeah, it's a big month. It's worthy of this kind of a reading. I hope that you got a lot out of it. I promise you, August won't be even a third of what I just went through. August, we're going to take a long nap. Okay. Other than Lionsgate, August will be pretty quiet. So that's what I have for you. I am going to the extended, and I'll go around the zodiac, Aries through Pisces, and I'll just do small readings for the month. So you already have the astrology, and we're going to, hit one major card and then some clarifiers to see the overall theme for you for the month. That is good for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for you, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus for your person. So if you know all those planets and placements, if they're all different, you get up to 8 different messages. So the link to that is below. If you are in any of the memberships, the All Access Pass, or any of the Zodiac memberships, you already have access to this. Go into moments.com, scroll to the monthly energy collection, and it's there. Okay, the rest of you, there's a link below. And today is the last day of the summer solstice special on my private readings. So that link is below too. At midnight, it's gone. So if you want 20% off my regular rate, it's about $50 off. That link is good till midnight, and I've got, I'm already rolling on the private readings. So if you're in line, hold tight, it's coming. I'll definitely get everybody done this month. So that's what I have for you. Hang in there, okay? Be the unicorn, and I'll see you in a future reading. Bye for now.